sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma friends, as ordinary people, we are in between this samsara and nirvana. So, the very difference of this, the samsara means that you projecting, that you looking, you depending always from outside with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It's kind of like the sun. It's shining to outside. But the nirvana is the path go towards the inward. And you look inside. That is what we use the 5 aggregates to go inside with the feeling, sensation, formation, thoughts, and the awareness. So when it comes to the example I gave, the sun, the what is shining outside towards outside is not the real sun. The sun itself, what is inside hold, is giving shining to outside. So when you know about the sun, when you want to know about the sun, what you should study, what you should know, the outside sunlight or the inside the sun. Because once you recognize the inside the mechanism and understand what is happening inside the sun, naturally it giving you the wisdom what is happening outside. And then you can know how this light appear, what is the reason for this. And when you see this light, then behind this understanding, you're going to gain the wisdom about from where it come and why it is happening like that. So same thing with the mind also. I just gave a simple example. Same thing with the mind. If we try to look for this outside world with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and we go behind this material world, there is no end. And there is no timeline. There is no limit. But you are the one who experiencing this all. And when it comes to your experience, you have this all the 6 senses with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. You experience this. So then be very limited to that senses and see. In that very moment, how you experience that. And from that point, look inside. What is happening inside you, and then you will see as a result of what is happening inside you, it's going to change what you see outside. And one time Buddha mentioned that if he summarizes that all the Buddha's teaching, not only his teachings, all the Buddhas, 28 Buddhas, or whoever are going to come in the future, if you summarize this all the Buddha's teachings to one place, Sabba papa sakaranam kusalassa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanam etam buddhana sasana. And Sabba papa sakaranam, and eliminate all the akusala or the unprofitable skills, take out everything, that all the unprofitable skills from you. Kusala Supasampada, all with the bodily, verbally, and mentally action, you maximize all your profitable skills. to 100%. Sachitta pariyodapana, that is the third line, is the most important part. Sachitta pariyodapana, taming the mind, cultivate the mind, uplift the mind, sharpen the mind, clear the mind, free the mind, and stronger the mind itself with the profitable skills. So when it comes to that, how you can do it? So that is the most important part. The mind. Why? Because the mind is the Purana, mind is this world. Of course, there is an outside world, but we need the mind to experience that. So you become kind of like a epicenter for this whole experience. So according to the condition of your mind, the whatever the outside, the things happening, it's going to change. Even that whatever come to our ourselves physically sometimes can change. Just as example, holding this, maybe you feel comfortable. When the mind is comfortable, mind is happy. But if the mind become tired, worry, unhappy, that holding this sometimes giving you unpleasant feeling. Even the taste the same. The whatever the sweet can become bitter, and whatever the sweet can become poisons if the mind become unhappy. And whatever the nice words can become very harsh words if the mind become unhappy. So whatever the beautiful things, gorgeous things appear to in front of you, whatever the royal things, whatever the regal things, whatever the vivid things appear to in front of you, can become dark, unshine, unpleasant if the mind become unhappy. So that's why you have to understand it is the condition of the mind hold this all these outside things. So then the taming the mind, cleaning that mind and uplifting its own origin rather than depending from thoughts is the important part. So then how the mind become polluted, how the mind become dark? By thoughts, not with others, by thoughts, yourself, the thoughts. So that's why you have responsibility with whatever the thoughts that you carry, mental formation, sanskara, knowingly or unknowingly what you accumulated from the history. And little by little you have to get out of it. Suddenly you cannot take a U-turn. So then you have to little by little, 1 inch by 1 inch. And slowly you have to take a turn, like a huge flight, aeroplane, how they turn, like a huge ship in the ocean, and how they turn. They're not going to take a U-turn. So same like yourself, you have to slowly, little by little, little by little. How you can do that? This is the technique to get that turn. Remember, one thought at a time. That's it. It's not a magic. Just a very simple method. But try yourself and see that where you are. One thought at a time. And so then even you can minimize that. Patrice too. Very few places in day-to-day life. 5 minutes, categorize. 5 minutes, one thought at a time. And then you give a mental object to inhalation, exhalation. when the inhalation happens, just recognizing inhalation as only one thought. That's it. You don't going to think over it. Or while you're sitting for meditation, you're not inviting all that your favorite things to think deeply inside. And as example, you can try this. You want to buy a t-shirt 2-3 days and start to look what is good for you and what is the size, what is the color. So like that, keep looking. Then what will happen when you sit for meditation? This uninvited thoughts and then start to come and pour all the color of t-shirts and everything, and then start to go with it. And think about what you're going to eat for next day, lunch or dinner, or maybe your breakfast, or maybe today evening dinner, what you're going to think to eat. Just think for a while, 1 hour, and sit for meditation to think about inhalation exercise. What will happen? All kind of vegetable, food, and all items going to come to you. Different menus going to pour into your mind. So this come uninvited. But then you have to understand this. So whatever that you day to day keep your mind, it going to be there when you close your eyes. Even it going to be there without any intention. It going to be there without any attention. So once you recognize that, don't use your mind for unnecessary things. Why? Because then you know sometimes when your mind want to use it to something very important, these unnecessary things can overtake that your mind. So that's why in samatha meditation, tranquility meditation, we introduce in another way that make it to use for recognize. Why we cannot use our mind to recognize? Why you cannot make it to use that way? Why you get disturbed out of it? Because for a while you used to keep doing certain things. So then one thought at a time, and look inside, and then little by little you will get into that. It's same like riding a bicycle. Keep the balance when you get into one thing, and when you want to do something, and keep that focus to you. You can do it. People do a lot of things, with the mind, but not a profitable way. You look, they do it in profitable way, and it is very difficult to find out. And there are people, they can use their mind to hide from everything and everybody, and they go deeper to something, and no one can catch them. Look, people use that mind in everywhere in the world, and sometimes, mostly. Look, as example, match fixing. It's a very famous subject. Just look, that the whole country, through countries, going to watch the match. And then two people, and the whole country don't know what's happening. The two people get together. Even the players sometimes who play in this soccer, it's something very big. There is a very huge history, and there are beautiful stories behind the match fixing. And I was reading the articles regarding how they are mastering the mind to match fixing. They are very sharp, and even the players don't know they already solved their match. See how sharp they are. And the whole two countries watching, and everybody cheering, and everybody watching, believing, and it going to be something. But it is an illusion and it is a myth. Why? Because it speaks by somebody, but the whole country don't know about it. Look how sharp should be to that person to get into like that. People can't do that. But look ourselves, sometimes it is, our own inhalation, exhalation, even in front of our eyes, here, in front of our face, touching on the tip of your nose, tip of your, upper lip, you cannot get it. That is why. It is not, you can't. See why that some other people can go into like that, deeper. And but yourself, ourselves, sometimes our mind is, you know, just one thought at a time, how difficult. So then, remember, you have that skill. Only thing is, in day-to-day life, you know, and have a discipline with your thoughts. That is very important. It is for you. It is not going to be somebody else. You no need to think if it is unnecessary. That is the very basic principle you have to get into practice. Don't you no need to listen if it is not necessary. Even today that we go to Facebook, and we use YouTube, and we read books, and we watch movies, documentaries, even the news. If it is not necessary, don't get into that. It is a trouble. It is unnecessary. Because later, why what happening then when you sit for meditation, or when you try to use your mind, even to read a book, even to do something, that unnecessary whatever the information start to go into there. So that's why we have to have the basic self discipline with the mind. Then things going to become more easy. Of course, it needs the practice, but little by little, put value on you. Otherwise, you cannot get out of this. Why? Because the dust going to become so strong, little by little, little by little. Now everything with this social media, and everything with this algorithm, and this everything with the artificial intelligence, the dust going to become so big. Only way to get out of this dust, remember, you cannot fight with this all the machines and technology, because it is not no one holding one person. The entire the world, it's kind of like a network now. You cannot interfere with something and destroy something. You cannot destroy your computer, or that the cell phone, or kind of like unplug the internet. You cannot do that. That way you cannot get out of it. Only way, have the self discipline. Don't open to unnecessary information. Don't go with it. And then you will see, whatever that the chaos in the middle, and you find your path. Because otherwise you cannot get into that balance. It's like riding a bicycle. You cannot get into one side, and you have to keep the balance. And then little by little, once you get into the balance, once you ride the bicycle, keep pedaling little by little, holding the balance. Then after a while, look, these young children sometimes, how they go mountains, and then even they, go with the one wheel, and they do very, crazy thing with these bicycles. How? Because once they find the balance, you create something, and it getting out of the balance. Same thing with the mind. And once you find the tranquility state to settle down, settle down, settle down, and from there you can go to vipassana, and you go out of that tranquility state. So then, but in the first level, you have to get into a point to make your mind usable. So then look yourself, is your mind usable? And or if your mind that always somewhere else and using somebody else or something else. The something else means the world, the samsara. And so whatever in your head, or if something or somebody or any situations, it's always come to you, bothering to you, and your mind go that way. What's the point then? So this practice little by little, take you to the point to understand yourself, to make it usable. Make it usable. So for that, you have to look for the mind, not look for the outside. So what our mistake is, we are kind like this. The elephant inside the house, and you look the footprint in the far away somewhere else. So that's how we are sometimes. We look at the west side of the ocean and waiting for the sunrise. We're not going to get it. We cannot meet that. So then getting to the right point, if you look for the peace, if you look for the happiness, calmness, relax, comfort, wisdom, look into the east and then you see the sunrise. Same like look into your mind, then you will see it. So then it suddenly you cannot look. Then why? Because in the very first level you cannot find the right location. So then what you have to do? Very first thing, get out of unnecessary thoughts. It's a protocol you have to follow. Get out of unnecessary thoughts. And for that, that's why you have a primary mental object. You focus to something. And then from there, little by little, stay with one thought at a time and go with that. And then little by little, you're going to see. And once you see that, you make it usable without getting any disturb from anybody. And that is the day you can decide what you want to do. If you want to come back here to, or if you want to get into a higher existence, or if you have any purpose in sansaric journey, then it's up to you. You can go for it. There are many bodhisattvas, there are many enlightened beings, there are many kind of like guardian angels, deities, with the purpose they have desire to with the higher purpose they have desire to, to get into existence. But ourselves as human beings, forget about the higher beings, even ourselves. And sometimes, we have the strength, what we decide in this very moment for regarding the next hour. Even 5 minutes ourselves to stay in focus, even within our own inhalation, exhalation. Yeah. That's mean our mind useless. Look at your life so far in your journey. If you look very carefully, how powerful this mind is. And mostly it is useless. You make it that useless. Why? Because you gave a lot of time to unnecessary moments or the thoughts or the people or the situations, and it just washed you away from the reality or the happiness or the comfort or the security. And now today you are just thinking what to do, and you sometimes, deeper in your heart, you claiming this is not the life what I want, why I am stuck here like this way, where are I going to end? You just have only two things. Not what is that two things? Hopes and fear. So get out of it. What's the point having hope and fear? So that's why sometimes in this path you have to be a little bit radical, otherwise you cannot get out of your own nature. So for that you need certain skill. You be usable yourself, not for anybody else. No, not for anybody else. It's for you. And I maybe even I don't know who you are and you don't know who I am. But still what I'm telling, be usable to yourself. That's worth for you wherever you are. And we even not met as personal, but it doesn't matter. Be useful to yourself at least, and wherever you are, then it make comfortable for you. So that is the important thing with the meditation. It make you usable, and when it make it usable, it make you sharp and clear and recognize. And once you have the recognition with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind in this very moment, whatever come to it, that the most safest way to make your journey happen. So if you are not sharp to recognize something, you misunderstand. It's called in Dharma, it's called Vipallasa. It is another lesson. But once you misunderstand, once your view become wrong, things go wrong, you cannot fix it. Only the struggle happen. That is what called suffering. So then yourself, remember, make your mind usable. And for that you have to have the skills. The very important skill is get out of the dirt and make it clear. Otherwise, sometimes it it take only few moments and you miss the truth. You miss the truth. You cannot get that because you have no clarity to recognize. And during the gold rush in America, in another state, there was a young rich person, and he had so much wealth. He had three brothers and sisters, and everybody settled down themselves. And he was thinking to start a business. So then what he did? He took all the wealth he collected the wealth from his families to start a business. What is the business? He going to get the digging the gold. And then he bought a huge land, more than 100 acres, and took all the machines and everything, all the tools and everything. And very expensive. He put all the money to dig gold. And now he hire people and start to work every day. Week passed by, months passed by, year passed. He couldn't find gold. And what happened? The money, little by little, little by little, and then finally he lost all his money, and he couldn't find gold. And what he did? He just then closed down his business, and whole family went down and became very poor because everybody put all the money to that. And then himself start to give up that 100 acres, more than 100 acres, the land and all the tools, and he sell it to people for little money. And then he became very poor. And he had a little tractor. So that is the last machine that he had. And he was struggling to get the money, even just for grocery, for in day-to-day expenses. So what he did, he put a ad on a newspaper to sell this little tractor. Then far away, another village, old person, and send him a postcard. Okay, bring the tractor. It's for very few money, more than $100 that time. So he put the tractor to another trailer and then drove to this person far away in another village. And he gave this little tractor and got little money for that, and he was happy with that. And another thing, he get out of this tractor also now, and he put the land for sale, and he became very poor. And by the time now he becoming old also. The old person, that tractor that bought that old person, and he had a friend. So they used to come and every day have tea in the evening. So this friend also came, and then this two friends get together in the evening for tea and having tea and told, hey, I brought a tractor, little one, just to do little farming. Then other friend told, let's go and see. They went to backyard and saw the tractor. And then the friend was going around the tractor and he saw the mud. So, oh, very old mud. And he kicked the tire and he start to take the mud and start to look. And he saw the gold. And he told this, the whatever this tractor, wherever this tractor used to work, should have gold. So what they did, and right away, then they again contact the person and ask about from where this tractor, and he told this story and asked where the land and told the land for sale. These two friends brought that land for very few money. And then and start to dig the gold. They dig only more 3 feet. They found the gold. And it is a gold rush history. This the true story happened. And only 3 feet above the ground, they found the gold. More than 100-acre land, huge gold. Look, the enlightenment also the same. Our happiness also the same. And sometimes our wisdom also the same. It is not far away from you. Remember that. When you struggle with something, your happiness is not far away from you. When you are unhappy with something, your happiness is not far away from something. Only thing is we look for the strong side. That is the thing. And sometimes when you start to look for this outside world, it's maybe there's no limits because it is so huge. So, but if you start to look towards you, and you will recognize that all the happiness, peace, calmness, wisdom, the nibbana inherent within you, how precious you are, how beautiful you are, how lucky you are, how wise you are. So you don't see that. Why? Because elephant here, we look the footprint far away. So truth within yourself, but we try to get the wisdom from outside. It never going to match. But get into this path, even just to think about, is this everything with me? You have to have courage. Otherwise you cannot get into that. Even to just to accept it. I can do this. You have to have courage. Otherwise, so the thing is this, from the history and from the society, from the culture, from the tradition, from the politics, from the economy, this, from the schooling, this everything. little by little, little by little, the society, the outside world, you know, and took out that courage from you. So to get back to it, you have to work little by little, little by little. So that's why when you sit for meditation, remember, this is the path that you cultivate. That's why it's that sabba papas akarana, you know, and get out of this all the unprofitable skills. So get into the self-discipline. If it is unnecessary, don't look twice, throw it away. Don't even think about it if it is unnecessary. Get into like that radical thinking for yourself. Otherwise, you cannot jump this hindrance. And kusalasa upasampada, and cultivate all the goodness around you, and whatever the good, bring it to you. And tame your mind, and clean your mind, develop your mind, uplift your mind, cultivate your mind like a farmer. Take care, put the water, put the soil, and let it cultivate with the clarity. And then you will see that all the reasons within yourself, that clarity will help you to transform yourself moment by moment, moment by moment, one thought at a time, with very clear, with the maximum effort, and it's going to give you the clarity. If you able to, in this lifetime, if you able to get into a one thought, look, one single thought, even for this second, 16 thoughts happening in you, you know, according to the Abhidharma. 16 thoughts come in one, like this moment. In that 16, if you able to get one thought at a time with the clear and with the very maximum effort, if you develop the awareness in that one thought, you liberate yourself and you will never go back to your position where you were. So that transformation is the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, going to take you there, and the transformation will lead you to that path. So give a try. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi dīghāyuko bhava. Ittavata ca ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idammi punya kammang asavakkaya hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.